didn't or hadn't asked that question before. This is like 20 years ago. I was trying to go back to college, and I was going to a local community college, and I took a geology class, and I loved it. I thought the teacher was awesome. And we had quite an eclectic mix of students, beliefs, gender, race, lots of things all in the mix. And one day, the geologist, this professor was like, I don't even know what rabbit trail he was going down. And I think it was like, he was talking about rocks that we have here, and that it was like something about space, or I know I sound so smart and sciencey, but he said he was following that thread, and he was like, isn't that cool how God did that? And it was real subtle. And even the people who were, I was waiting. I was like, oh my gosh, who's gonna have a fit, And even the people that I thought it was so subtle and so gentle. And I forgot who said what, because I was still just kind of stunned. And he said, if you haven't reached God, then you haven't asked enough questions. If you ask enough questions, you're going to get to a place where you cannot explain it, where you just can't go past that without reaching some conclusion that someone extremely intelligent and amazing did something. And I feel like that's what we wrestle with all the time. Believers, non-believers, scientists, people of faith who do believe in science. I think we all reach that point where we're like, even if you look up science, if you like, what is a scientist and what do they do? And you can have loads of evidence, because scientists collect evidence to help try to explain why things are the way they are. But I would be leery of any scientist saying the word proof. It doesn't really fit in there. Mm-hmm. And so I think if we're going to truly go down that line, then you have to also ask yourself, am I trying to learn how this is, or am I trying to be right? And I think the world is so full of whatever you believe and whatever your stance is. At the end of the day, being right is more important than being anything else. No. And I feel like that is not very scientific. And I feel like that is not very faith-based to be.
Either one.
Pardon?
Either one. It's anti-science and it's anti-faith.
However you feel and whatever you believe, if your goal at the end of your day is to be right, then I don't know that either of those fields are going to help you very much.
Because both of them indicate a closed mind and no longer a desire to learn, but a desire to control or something like that.
Exactly.
That's good. Melissa, what's your favorite passage? Or maybe amplify on the theft of your favorite passage from Amy.
Right? 30. Okay. So maybe we can dig into this another time, but I'm just going to put it out there because I think that every word in the Bible means something, that it has great meaning. And I know that, reading through Genesis, that God created everything and the earth and all of this. But in Genesis 1:24, it says, and God said, let the land produce living creatures according to their kinds. So then in 27, I find it really profound that it says, so God created mankind in his own image. In the image of God, he created them. They're saying the same thing twice. That happens a lot when somebody is emphatic. And then it says male and female, he created them. It seems like God is the ultimate creator and the ultimate design, but that everything he's creating and designing, he's almost delegating You know, he's like, and the water will teem with these things, and the land will produce these things. And that's beautiful. And then he's like, and God created mankind. He created them in his image. He did this, man and woman, in his, you know, in his image, he created them. And I think that I always think that there's something so magical about the human race that separates us from everyone else. And that helps the Bible story be believable to me. But when I was reading this, of course, it ends on such a powerful and profound verse. Genesis 2:25 says, Adam and his wife were both naked, and they felt no shame. And that is so profound to me, because being naked is the ultimate vulnerability. It still is everywhere. You know, you come into the world naked and screaming, and you need protection, and you need care, and you depend on all these other things to make you safe. And in the beginning, they were already safe, and their pride and their fall and their sin hadn't separated them from God. Their shame hadn't separated them. And I just think, what a beautiful little moment in history when all things were right between humans and God. Before the fall, when it was as pure and as perfect as it was ever going to be on this created earth, between man and God. And so I love that verse, because I cannot imagine what it would be like to be in my most vulnerable state, spiritually, physically, mentally, and to feel no shame and no fear. And I hope someday to be there.